What's up, everybody? It's your boy D Max. So let's talk about it. They often say that a child loses its innocence whenever they stop believing in the tooth fairy or Santa Claus or all of the other tales that we've told children throughout our society as tradition and things like that. So once a child starts to realize that those things are not true, they say that's when a child has lost their innocence. But what about us as an adult? What about when we find out something that we believed our whole lives is not true? Do we once again lose our innocence? So do we go through different waves of losing our innocence through life? And I say this because I found that talking with a lot of other people who pursue knowledge and who's pursuing what they consider truth, um, we all are coming to this general consensus that, the more knowledge that we come upon, the more heavy we become, the more sorrowful we become for the simple fact that we start to gain a realization of what state of mind we're truly in. And that takes a heavy toll on you. That really gives you perspective. And when you start to do this type of heavy examination of not only yourself, but, you know, the things that you thought you knew, it causes a lot of confusion. It causes you to go through the whole grief cycle, causes you to go through anger, it causes you to go through resentment, bitterness, and so many other emotions until you come to a point to where you're just numb and you don't know what to believe, you don't know what not to believe, you don't know what to dispel. And so this is when our mental health starts to come in play. And have talked with a lot of people, man, and I've recognized a lot of things that I've been through in my search for knowledge and stuff like that. And I've seen a lot of these different signs because of things that I went through myself and things that I experienced based on stuff that I learned that was true and things that I learned wasn't true. And I say this quite often, man, that unlearning things that were just imparted into you from a child all the way up through your pretty much your adult life, having to unlearn these things is a real hard mental thing to go through. It's not just, okay, well, that ain't true, I'm not going to believe it anymore. What do you say to the people who have built a life based around a certain belief, and then they come to find that that belief is not true, and now they have to essentially strip their whole life down and create or build on a foundation of a new belief system? And now you're going to question everything because you believe wholeheartedly in your first belief system. You believe wholeheartedly in the things that were taught to you. You believe wholeheartedly in the way your culture was cultivating you. You believed in all of that stuff. And I say this, and I'll make a comparison because a lot of these brothers that's growing up in these projects, this is the way they're being cultivated. This is what they believe, man. And so when they act on these things and they're willing to die for what they believe in. Now, because we don't believe what they believe in, that does not make their belief any less potent than what we believe in. And this is something that I try to point out often whenever I get into a debate or anything like that with somebody. I let them know, look, man, we're just debating from two different reference points which we never witnessed ourselves. So at best, we may be getting second or third hand eyewitness knowledge. And who knows how that's been translated and how it's been manipulated throughout the years by the time it gets to our eyes and gets to our ears. And I try to point this out to people because it doesn't make any sense for us to argue about ideologies that are based on other people's research and other people's thoughts. We have to shape our own opinions and our own thoughts based off of our experiences in life. And so I say again, is there another just different phases of us losing our innocence? And when we go on these pursuits for knowledge, do we really think we're going to end up happy in the end because of what we learn? A lot of us started, I know, well, I can't speak for other people. I'm going to speak for me, D Mac. I know when I started out on my quest for knowledge, I was excited. I was always motivated, and it always drives me whenever my spirit comes in contact with something that just sends up a red flag or whatever it may stimulate within me. I'm so excited and I'm ready to go on that journey, or I think I'm ready to go on that journey. But as I start to go on that journey, and I start to realize and understand some hard truths, not only about me, but about things around me, things that are taking place in my life, and things that has to be that I don't want to endure. As I go through these things, man, it is not a pleasurable thing, and I do not feel fulfilled at the end because every question that I ask and search for an answer for it, whatever answer I come across is only going to produce more questions. And so I'm constantly on this cycle of I have a question. Now I'm seeking the answer. Now, once I find something that I construe as the answer and that satisfies me, that only produces other questions. And so now I'm going further and further, and it's no stop to it. There's never a stop to our learning. There's never a stop to our curiosity because our curiosity always wants to be fed. And that is part of our flesh. It always wants to be fed. Now, I'm not saying that curiosity is a bad thing, but within the wrong context and within the wrong motive, yes, it is. It very much so is. Anything can be wrong when it's used with the wrong motive. So, but not to get too far off topic, I'm just saying, man, that in this pursuit that we're going on for life, just know that you're going to have to swallow some tough pills. Just know that it's not going to be something that's going to enhance you all the time and make you feel superior. Because if you're seeking knowledge to feel superior, you're absolutely going to get highly disappointed. You're going to get highly disappointed because the more knowledge that you gain, and they say that there's power in knowledge. Yeah, that's true to an extent, but there's also a burden, a heavy, heavy burden that comes with the knowledge that we possess and the knowledge that we exercise and operate in. And for every level, there's a new depth, there's a new challenge, there's a new problem, there's a new everything. And so you're constantly starting over, but you're building and you're constantly building. So if you're not built for that type of warfare and you're not built for that type of journey, then you might want to go back to the video that I did earlier where I was talking about the road less traveled by and the highway that everybody wants to travel because they feel like that's the quickest route to their destination. And you might want to go there. But what I'm talking about right now is for the people who are not just satisfied with one answer that they get because their spirit can't bear witness to the truth in that answer, or as they've sought out answers, and like I said, those answers have produced more questions. Those questions begin to indirectly shine a light on something that has been taught to them for a long time, and now they understand, well, that can't be right. If this says this and this is the truth, then that right there can no longer be, in my thought process. And these are the things that you go through. Dumping information, dumping old information. It makes you feel kind of dumb. It really does. I ain't even gonna lie, just to cut through all the sweetness of it, it make you feel dumb. It make you feel used. It make you feel manipulated. Make you feel all of those things, betrayed or whatever, because people knowingly or unknowingly told you these lies all of your life, and you followed these lies all your life. But did they know? Were they just following blind and never really looked into it to see if there was anything to be challenged? Or did they just take somebody else's word for it because that was the easiest route to go? And that's just how we as humans do sometimes when we get lazy. But there are some of us who ask the question why. And we won't stop asking the question why until that answer is being given. And we're going to seek until we find an answer. But like I said, it's a double edged sword because it's always going to produce more questions. And so, what is your pursuit for happiness? What is your pursuit of happiness consisting of? Is it consisting of looking for a way to better yourself as a person? Is it looking for a way to better your community around you? Is it whatever your pursuit of happiness may be? Um, is going to affect other people outside of you and the people that you would just have in mind. There are so many other people that are going to be connected to your failures as well as your victories. So many people, and we don't understand that. And that's why on this road is going to be so many things that come out of left field because we did not expect our actions to reach so far, but they do. They reach so far, and that's why the butterfly effect really, really holds a primary role in this because you know what the butterfly effect is. It's basically like the ripple in the water effect, same concept. You know, you drop a pebble in the water and it sends out ripples, and those ripples become waves and so forth and so on. It's the gradual buildup of energy throughout this one small motion. The same thing with the butterfly effect. The butterfly's wings, as it flaps, it sends out a wind vibration, and as the further it goes out, it picks up momentum and it grows into something larger, and it affects so much more of a broad area than just the small area that the butterfly is in. This is our signal, if you want to say that. I won't say signal, our frequencies. Our frequencies move like that. When we go out and we deal with others and we transmit these communications, these are frequencies that are going out and they're touching other people and they're stimulating their chakra and all of those things like that. So we are in this same butterfly effect, the same ripple effect as we go on this journey for knowledge and seeking truth in life and coming on here and telling people what we've experienced and what our view is. You know, I never come on here to argue with nobody. I never come on here to belittle anybody or to dismiss their beliefs or anything like that. That'll never be DMAC, man, because there's so much stuff out here. There's so much information and there's so much truth in different foundations that you would have to be just narrow minded to disregard other people's beliefs and stuff like that because they hold merit. This world was it was going back to Pangea before the continents separated. There was so much taking place back then that we are not aware of, that we could never have proof of, not firsthand proof of, but we can definitely go dig up some fossils and we can get some um, whatever, some writings in caves, and we can decipher these things and come up with our different conclusions based on the partial information that we receive. But we're never going to give you a full picture because it's not meant to be fully revealed yet. I mean, that's really the only explanation that I have for myself right now. But, going on a pursuit for knowledge, just know that you're going to have those heavy days. You're going to have those days where you just, I don't know, you can't believe what you're witnessing. You can't believe what someone is saying to you. You question someone about these things and they give you the runaround, or they get defensive with you. There's so many different things that you go through, man, when you're really, really seeking knowledge, when you're really seeking understanding. That's the thing. Understanding is where your true sorrow is going to come from. Because once you go through all of this different information, unlearning stuff, learning new stuff, trying to believe in the new stuff, which is shaky because you still have a bad taste in your mouth about all of the old stuff that you believed that wasn't true. So now you don't know what to put your whole heart or your faith into, but you're just trying. Um, when you go through this hurts. This is something that's for a person who likes to be in control. It's going to be one of the hardest things in the world for you, because you're having to let go of everything that worked for you before. You're having to let go of your understanding of things before. And you're really having to trust in a system that you are not accustomed to, and try to build within that. And that is a mental exercise for anybody. So I just wanted to put this out there, man, because there's a lot of people who are having some mental issues. We have, like we said, we've been talking about Will Smith and the whole Chris Rock incident, and fake. I say the whole thing was fake. I say this or that, and that's just my opinion. But just for sake of argument, if it is to be true, just for sake of argument, Will Smith, after going up there and receiving his Oscar, after being asked to leave and refusing to leave, um, alluded to, how he's been picked on his entire career. And this right here indirectly correlates with the bullying that I've addressed in quite a few episodes, and the bully culture that we live in, and how it affects the person who's been bullied. And you have those kids who will end up going to the schools and shooting up the schools, and you have other people who will go into public places and shoot up those public places, and so forth and so on, because they've been bullied their whole, not just at that particular time, but they've been bullied their entire life because of the way that they carry themselves. There's some people out here who do not want conflict. There's some people out here who avoid conflict. There's some people out here who would rather just have um, a pleasant exchange with you and go on about their business. And if there is a misunderstanding, then we will be able to talk it out. We'll be able to work it out without the hostility, without the malicious intent behind it. But there's not many people who has that mindset and a pure heart in that sense, to where they are willing to do that. And after a while, trying to be that nice guy, trying to be that person who you can come to and really trust, and constantly getting kicked for doing that, for doing nothing more than trying to be nice and trying to help out, that gets tiresome. That gets very tiresome. And that person at some point is going to have a break. Everyone has a breaking point. And You know, Will Smith, for many years, he's painted himself to be Mr. Positivity and Mr. We're going to look at it from this alternative and it doesn't have to go to this. And this is what he's preached for a long time. But as you see, we all have a breaking point. You get tired of getting picked on. I don't care who you are. And I have people out there who will say, well, he make all of this money and he's a professional. He should be able to take all that. Yeah, okay. That's fine and well when you're sitting back and you don't have to be the butt of the joke. And this is all just for argument's sake, because like I said, I don't believe that the slap was real anyway. But let's just say that the slap was real. What does it establish now? Does it establish Will Smith as the bad guy that he's always wanted to be seen as and thinks that he'll get some respect for that? No. Does this stop anybody from talking about him or his wife or his family? Absolutely not. We hear the comedians just going in. So, what has this accomplished for Will? Is this a personal accomplishment within his relationship? Has this established something between him and his wife that was missing before? Does this solidify his role as a protector of her? I don't know. This is all speculation. This is all conjecture. This is all hypothetical. But these are questions that it brings up because if you want to look at it, there was really nothing to be gained from what he did. Nothing at all to be gained. Especially for you being a black man slapping another black man. You know, we don't even need to talk about the different levels of that, what that means, especially on the level that these two men are and they're esteemed upon, you know, so we don't need to talk about the ramifications of that and what that does to the black community. But it also does a lot for a whole lot of other people. What's my man name who was in charge of actually running the Oscars and first time a black guy got this honor to be able to do that, and that got messed up because now they say, oh, you put it in the hands of black people, look what you get. You know, so there's that ammunition that's being put out there. This is all because of this slap. Now you've got the actors versus the comedians, basically. Now you got a beef between Tony Rock and Will Smith, and you know that's just going to bubble over into something else. You know, you have other family members who have something to say about it, and you have all of these different outside of people from these different teams who have something to say about it, and it's just drawing one more wedge in our society that's not needed. We have enough wedges and division in our society, and we're just having all of these different wedges coming in and separating our society into so many different parts that there'll never be a United States ever again. This is what is systemically happening. The United States is being systemically divided into so many parts that it'll never be united again. That's what I see taking place. I don't know if that is the agenda, but this is what I see taking place. And it's going to continue to take place as long as we continue to feed into the negativity, as long as we continue to feed into all of the toxic conversation that be going on here. All of that stuff right there, it all culminates to this, a wedge, another wedge. And there's so many different dividers in this big old notebook. Yeah, it'll never be United States of America ever again. So we need to change the name, just make it America. We need to take that whole United States part off because that is absolutely not true. You look at all of the different states and all of the different governors and all of the different policies. We don't even have the same policies in one or two same states. You know what I'm saying? We have so much division. There's nothing to show me something that's united about the United States right now. What are we united in as one? What can all Americans come together in agreement for right now? It's okay. I'll wait. And let me ask it again. What can all Americans, no matter what their race, creed, color, nationality, culture, all of that is, what can everybody that resides in America come together for right now? Nothing. Not even war. Not even war. Not even attack on our country, because we've already had an attack on our country on January 6th, a couple years ago. There's nothing that is going to bring us together as a country anymore. So we need to take that US off and just call ourselves America. That's just my personal opinion. You know, you can disagree with that, and if you're patriotic and you love this country, then I love it too, man. Because in all actuality, it is one of the better places to live in the world if you want to exercise any type of freedom and liberty on any type of scale. We can argue about how much freedom and liberty we have, but that is a luxury, because there's a lot of places in this world who can't even have that conversation, period. So, we get that out of the way. But yeah, on this pursuit of knowledge, man, you're going to have much sorrow. And the more you start to understand about how bad our state is and our condition is, then you're going to definitely, you're going to feel the weight of what you know. And there was many times downrange when you're given certain information and you have a certain security clearance level, that if a person does not have that level of security clearance, they can't have a conversation with you about those things. And so you can be sitting here sitting on some information that could be detrimental to them, that they should know about. But because they don't have that security clearance, you can't speak to that person about those things unless given authority to do so. So there's a lot of times you're sitting around knowing about something that could be potentially taking place, and you can't say anything. You're sitting there with this heavy look on your face. You're sitting there trying your best not to look distraught, trying your best to not look worried, and carry on conversations and interact with people, but they can feel something ain't right. They can feel your energy ain't right, or something ain't, and you can't say nothing. That's the same thing it is whenever we go out and we gain certain knowledge and we gain certain understandings in this world. And we sit back, because there's some people, even if we did tell them, they wouldn't understand, because they don't have that clearance. They don't have that level of understanding to be able to digest that information. And so you have to sit back and watch them go through stuff, and you know exactly why they're going through the stuff they're going through, but you can't even explain it to them to help them to correct that. And you have to watch them go through that process. But this is something that we have to learn to do more. Watch people go through these processes and understand. Don't get mad at them whenever they lash out because they angry and they confused, man, and they don't really have an understanding, and they bitter and all of these things like that. Don't dismiss them. Don't throw them away, man. Don't don't try to match that energy with them, man. Just understand and know that you was in that place before. Telling you, man, it's a long road. It's a long, long road to where you want to go, all of us. And, as we travel on this road, there's going to be some detours. There's going to be a lot of things that we're going to encounter. But as we endure, as we travel, as we make it to our destination, we look back, man, and we're thankful. We're thankful for the journey because it brought us to a new place. It brought us to a new plateau in our lives. And even though we still carry the burden of having this certain knowledge of where we are in life, we take comfort in the understanding so that we can be able to adjust and we can be able to help others to adjust. Um, this is your boy D Mac, man. Y'all know what I always say. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out, man.